The 0% interest loan. Is that wise? Is it smart? Well, let's break it down. Before we get to the interest part and all that, I just want to kind of throw out a general question. And I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, but I think your intelligence is going to be insulted because this should be common sense. But let's just say that there is a fact out there. Keep in mind, I didn't say myth. I didn't say in theory. I didn't say probability. A fact. Like, this will happen. It is a fact. And that fact is this, that you have an object, and then over time, almost instantaneously, this is what's going to happen. So what is this down arrow representing? Value. And then over here, let me change up the colors a little bit. We have time. So in other words, this is, remember, a fact of the matter. You have an object. Over time, it's going down in value. And in most cases, as soon as, the object, something happens, which we'll get to that, something happens, this begins immediately. Value begins to drop. So knowing that is the fact of the matter, would it be wise to buy right there? You're thinking, well, no, why would I buy something there when you know the value is going to drop when you know the value is dropping? That would be stupid. Exactly. Let me put it this way. Let me say that, you know what? We'll find a nice pink house. I'm going to give you, or some bank's going to give you a 0% mortgage house, meaning you don't pay any interest on the house. But then you also know that, well, the house is going to drop in value. Will you still buy the house at a 0% mortgage rate if you know that the house is going to drop, let's just call it 30%? You're probably saying, no, I don't care that I'm not getting any mortgage on it. I don't care that I have 0% mortgage interest. I mean, the thing just dropped on me. So in, kind of mortgage terms, you would be underwater on the loan, meaning you owe more on the home than what it's worth. Because if you just bought it for, let's say, $100,000 and now it dropped 30%, it's worth $70,000. So sure, you're not paying a mortgage on it in the sense of you don't have a mortgage interest rate, but who really cares? Now this thing is only worth $70,000 when you bought it for $100,000. For those of you that maybe have some experience in the stock market, and then the stock market, if you're not familiar, I'll just summarize real quickly. There's a thing called margin. Margin is basically a loan, and a loan that has interest attached to it. But what happens if I said, you know what? You can have, you can buy, we'll just call this now XYZ. So stock XYZ at 0% margin, meaning we're not going to charge you anything for the loan. But you knew that as soon as you buy the stock, or within a very short amount of time, that stock is dropping 30%. Would you say, okay, yeah, I'm definitely going to buy that stock because I have 0% interest on the margin rate, on the moment? No, that doesn't make any sense. So why in the world does it make any sense to go and do this? Now, first off, a house, that's a really bad example because a house is going to go up in value. And that's why if you can find a 0% mortgage for a house, yeah, you need to get all over that. That's a great deal because that's not going to be guaranteed to drop. Historically, real estate goes up in value. But let's get back to this. Why do people think that, hey, look, there's some car. I'm going to buy this car for $25,000. And you know what? Guess what? It's 0% interest for 36 months or for whatever. Who cares? It's 0% interest. Let's go back to this loan. So sure, you're getting a loan for $25,000. What does that mean? A loan means that you owe somebody something. You need to pay them back. Think about that. You literally owe somebody legally. Like there's paperwork that goes into it. So you owe somebody. But again, all right, well, it's 0%. Well, if you're not familiar, and I'm not asking you to trust me at all, because maybe to you, I'm just some stranger on the internet, but go and research the value of vehicles and what happens over time, especially brand new. Whew, talk about a bloodbath. But even used, go and look what happens to vehicles or to boats or to pieces of furniture or to anything that goes from new to used or goes from used to even more used. Look at what happens to value. It does this. So you get a car, $25,000, and what's going to happen? Well, it's a fact of the matter. It is going down in value. So now pretty quickly, let's just say this thing is worth, $20,000. Okay, that's great. Congratulations. You're not paying any interest on that. But you owe $25,000 on something that is now worth $20,000. Does that sound smart? Does that sound like a good way to manage your money? If you're saying, yeah, because it's 0% interest, then I suck as a teacher. I did not get the point across here. But the idea here, especially with what we would call these as depreciating assets, is you don't want payments on something that's going down in value. Even if you can get a 0% interest rate, who cares? Because at the end of the day, you have taken a loan. And with a loan, what? That means you owe. And if you owe an amount of money on something that's worth more than what it's actually even worth, that's just not smart. So like I said, I started off with these examples for a reason. I'm assuming you can say, no, why would I ever take a mortgage out on a house at 0% interest if I know the thing's going to drop in value? That doesn't make any sense. Or with a stock. So why would it make any sense for a vehicle? It's the same exact principle. So as far as, do I think 0% loans are smart? Maybe, depending on what? Well, if it's on an appreciating asset, then that's fine because your value is going up. So that's much different than on situations like this where you're gonna find yourself very quickly, or it's only a matter of time before you owe somebody else an amount of money that's way more than what your thing is even worth. And in this case, being a car. So 0% loans, just stay away. They are not as good as what they appear. Thanks for watching the video. If you are interested in the top 10 links that I use on a daily basis to manage, to control, and to build my finances and to make them efficient as possible, then down below in the description, if you're watching this on YouTube, description, if you're watching this on moneywithclay.com, then just down below the video, you can click on the link and that'll take you to these links that I use on a daily basis that really allow me to work smarter and not harder.